The aircraft is airborne for around 30 seconds, but the pilot does get a mayday call out. So what does that tell us? Morning, Sean.
Morning to you, Nick. Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, first of all, sympathies, as you said. I mean, it's a tragic loss of life, and there'll be so many families who haven't yet had closure. I think having studied all the available footage at the moment, the aircraft, when you and I go on holiday, you go in a transport aeroplane, as soon as it leaves the ground, it gets into a very steep climb because it wants to get away from the ground. There's noise abatement, stuff like that. This aircraft clearly didn't do that. It comes off the ground. There's a sort of what looks like a little puff of smoke as it leaves, but it never looks as if it's stridently getting into the air at all. And within 30, it gets up to apparently about 600 feet, crashes within 2 kilometres of the runway. It was full of fuel, so of course you've now got a small cylinder packed full of people and fuel. Crashes. The weather was clear, there's sunshine, 6 kilometres visibility, light winds. So that's what we know so far, and quite apart from the fact that absolutely amazing that the chap in 11A managed to survive. Goodness knows how that happened.
Yes, we're going to be looking at that a little bit later. So the pilot obviously knows something's going wrong. Sean, are we looking at what's called bird strike?
Well, I think, first of all, the first priority is obviously to recover the people. Second is you're going to have the Indian Air Accident Investigation folks. They've been augmented by the US NTSC and also our own Air Accident Investigation Board. I understand 4 of our chaps have gone out there. Their first priority will be the 2 black boxes. There's always a bit of redundancy, sucking those dry. But also there'll be the radar tapes from the air traffic controllers. There'll be the aircraft manufacturers, the service records. Were the crew properly trained? Did they do simulators? And I think they'll be looking at external as well as internal actions. What could have happened to the aircraft and how much happened with the aircraft itself. From the visible signs there, it looks likely that power was one of the things. Now, was that because there was some sort of fuel problem? Or was it a pilot error or something like that? Or from an external, is it something like bird strikes? Now, these aircraft can fly with one engine quite happily, even at the worst time of a flight. So it looks likely that it would be both engines. Having a bird strike there, apparently, I think I was looking at the stats, 462 bird strikes in that region in the last 5 years. It is a bit notorious, but having both engines taken out at the same time, that's pretty difficult to do. And all of that will be studied in great deal of depth to find out exactly what happened. But let's be clear, Nick, that Dreamliner, it's the first time in 14 years, 6 weeks ago, they celebrated carrying their 1 billionth passenger. It's the first loss of that aircraft. So even though people have been focused on Boeing and the like, that Dreamliner is one of the safest aircraft available in the world.
You've mentioned the video that's been seen. Have you, Sean, had an opportunity to see the Air India passenger who made a video that appears to show electrical fittings, air conditioning, seat back screens, everything not working for the passengers on board this aircraft? Sean?
No, I haven't seen that, but I have listened to the reports. There was a loud bang, and I think you will knit this stuff together to go. If it was a pilot error, you wouldn't get a bang. If you had a pilot error, it wouldn't be the electrical systems all failing. It all points towards something catastrophic happened. And the very fact that the pilot managed to get a mayday signal out means that, and frankly, the one thing I have to truly admire as a former pilot myself is that from the moment the aircraft left the ground, it looked like it was fated to crash. You imagine you and now the 2 pilots in the front of that aeroplane, you're limping your way to what's going to be a catastrophic crash. You're in a tube of aluminium, and effectively, it's composite, packed full of aviation fuel, and yet somehow in the last moments they sort of flare the aircraft, trying to wash off speed. It's still going to hit the ground at 200 miles an hour, yet miraculously one person has walked away. And I think it'll be interesting to see what the Air Accident Investigation Board comes up with. That's nothing short of a miracle.